Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to the FCS Prep Podcast, where I'm your host, Dr. Keith Fairclough. Guys, this is where we experience real change right now. All right, so we are still pushing forward in the emotion series. We're almost done. We have 3 more videos, including this one. Today, we're going to be talking about embarrassment and confidence, right? We're going to be talking about these 2 emotions. They kind of balance each other out a little bit, but before I go any further, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. All right, share your thoughts about what you think about this video. Share this with someone you really think or feel is really going to need it and can benefit from it. Without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get started, Embarrassment's the first one we're talking about. The emotion of embarrassment, we've all felt it, we've all experienced it, and it doesn't feel good, right? So what does the emotion of embarrassment tell us? The emotion of embarrassment tells us that, man, I think I might have violated some type of social or cultural norm, right? It makes me feel awkward or self-conscious, right? That's what the embarrassment tells us. That's the signal from the brain. The brain's like, I think we might have violated one of those rules, And usually it's exposed in front of other people, in front of whoever we may be around, or it doesn't have to be a large crowd. It could be one person. It could be our family. It could be our friends. It could be people at work. It could be when you're on stage. It could be when you're online. It could be anywhere, right? That's the message that we get. Our brain sends that's like, we might have violated a social norm or standard that, usually people aren't supposed to do, right? And so sometimes, though, this is something to be aware of. Sometimes, though, we get the wrong message because embarrassment comes, but it's not based off us violating a social norm or a standard. Sometimes embarrassment comes because we have made an assumption about other people's perception of us, right? The perspective of us. We have made that thought. We made that assumption that, they're perceiving us a certain way. Their perspective of us is this, right? I'm supposed to be this perfect person that never makes a mistake, and oops, now look, I made a mistake in front of everybody. Now what's everyone going to think, right? So that's what embarrassment tells us. And so what are the symptoms of that, right? You might have blushing, you might have sweatiness, nervous laughter, you might have people not really wanting to make eye contact, you could have there's gonna be a number of different symptoms that come up with that, right? Fidgeting, you see someone who, might have made a mistake and now maybe their eyes are on their hands or their fingers are going like this or whatever might be going on when it comes to that feeling coming up, right? So how do we fix this? What do we do about embarrassment? When we feel this, what do we do? All right. So one of the first things you could do is just take action to correct whatever it is you might be embarrassed about. So sometimes I'll be, when talking with people, I might fumble over my words. So I'll say something, I'll be like, English, and then I'll go and just keep moving forward. I just address it head on. Sometimes that's what we have to do. I remember one time, talk about embarrassment, right? One time I was in college and I was on my bike and I was flying down the hill, thought I looked so cool, ended up hitting someone by accident, but my bike was going too fast for me to stop and say sorry. And I went right into a curb. I couldn't stop. Boom! Fell off my bike. Everyone was getting out of class. It was just like, man. And that's just one event out of so many. But what did I do? I just got up, dusted myself off, got on my bike and kept on rolling. That's it. So just take some action to correct whatever it is that was embarrassing in that moment. Take some action, correct it. Or you can redirect the situation, right? So maybe you can redirect people to, okay, you made a mistake. Okay, well, let's look over here. Like, let's just put to the side and we'll go on and do this or go on and do that, or we'll just change the subject or whatever the case may be to move on from that event, right? So those are 2 things you could do that could help, shift, and not be embarrassed anymore, right? Here's something else really important. Understand that everybody makes mistakes. Every single person on the planet makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect. They never have been. They never will be. There's only one person that's ever been perfect on the planet Earth, and that was Jesus Christ. Outside of him, everybody has failed. 100%. We all have. We've all had those moments where we've gaffed and said something we shouldn't have said, made a joke we shouldn't have made, whatever the case may be. We've all had those moments. So keep that in mind. You're not the only one. Even the best of the best of the best of the best have had those moments where they made mistakes in front of all types of people, right? So keep that in mind, right? So don't put such harsh standards on yourself, which actually leads to another one where maybe your expectations of yourself are too high, right? Maybe you're putting yourself up on this way, way, way up thing, and it's like you can't make a mistake, which kind of ties into the other one, right? Like you can't make a mistake. Like why? Why would you set yourself up like that? You're going to make a mistake. All of us are going to make a mistake. You can look at my videos. There are probably some things I made mistakes in. As I was actually, working on this study, I was looking back over my notes and there were mistakes. I'm not tripping over it. Why? It's just part of life. I don't put myself on this place, this pedestal where I'm Mr. Perfect. I never make mistakes. I make mistakes. It's okay. Change that expectation of yourself of perfection. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's always about progress. How can you get better, right? Which actually that ties into confidence in the next emotion, but we'll get to that in a second. All right. So refrain from making assumptions about what you think other people are thinking about you. Let me say that one more time. Refrain from making assumptions about what you think other people are thinking about you. Believe it or not, more often than not, most people aren't actually thinking about you. More often than not, they're thinking about themselves. So again, we put ourselves on this high pedestal like, oh my gosh, everyone's looking at me. And no, when I fell off my bike, maybe someone has a story about it like, oh man, I saw this kid eat it in college. That might be it. But more often than not, everyone was like, I got to get to my next class. I got to study. I'm having a girlfriend problem, a boyfriend problem. My parents are doing this. This is doing da-da-da-da. Like we put so much import on ourselves as if the entire world is looking at us and like, whoop, just waiting for us to mess up. Might be kind of hard to believe, but we're not as important as we make ourselves out to be. And for those people who do look at you and laugh and want to say this and want to make comments, that's a dysfunction in them. And then the last thing about how to correct embarrassment is increase your self-worth, right? Love yourself more. Give yourself more value. If I'm in front of anybody and I make a mistake, it's okay. I know who I am. I know who I am. I know what I have to offer. So I'm not going to be sitting here beating myself. No, mistake. Big deal. Keep it pushing. Like whatever. And then here's the crazy part. When you do that, other people do that too. Yeah, well, said something silly or whatever, made a mistake or made a joke that wasn't funny. Okay, well, just move on. Okay, whatever. But the bigger deal you make of it, people, unfortunately, the bigger deal they'll make of it because you're drawing attention to it. So, embarrassment done, bring confidence in. All right, the emotion of confidence, right? The emotion of confidence is really just when we have a standard of what I set out to do, I do, right? It's almost like a belief or a trust in yourself that whatever I say I'm going to do, I do it. I accomplish it. I accomplish that task. Essentially what it is that you have a belief in your abilities. You have a belief, in your skills. You have a belief in yourself that no matter what comes my way, or no matter task or goal I'm trying to accomplish, I will accomplish it. That's essentially what confidence is telling you. Whatever I face, I have the wherewithal, the skills, the talents, the abilities, the knowledge, whatever, the experience. I have that. So I can face that. And if it's something I haven't experienced before, I know that I can figure it out. That is the feeling, the emotion of confidence. And it is so, so powerful. And I'm going to give you guys a tip, right? I'm going to give you guys a tip. I know I've been dropping tips the entire video. That's the whole purpose, right? Don't let anyone tell you, or don't you tell yourself, I'm not confident. Do not tell yourself that, because it is impossible for you to make it to where you are without having confidence. Because every single one of us, no matter how far we are, has set a goal or a task and accomplished it. Every single one of us. It's not about becoming more confident, right? I mean, you can become more confident with more victories and things of that nature, more things you accomplish. You can become more confident with that, but it's not that you lack confidence. You have confidence. And I'm going to show you how you have confidence a little bit later on, right? I'm going to show you that. But every single person on this planet has confidence, because the only way you wouldn't have confidence is if you literally laid there as a baby and just did absolutely nothing. You didn't walk, you didn't feed yourself, you didn't do nothing. And your whole life has been that way. So we'll get to that. So what are the symptoms of being confident? What does that feel like, right? So you usually have an upright posture, a steady voice. You tend to be more positive. You speak more positively, right? You're willing to take on more challenges. You have steady eye contact. Your body is in almost like in a ready state, like a peaceful, ready state. Almost the best way I can describe it's like, you ever see like a kung fu master, how they're not like tight and they're always like loose, and then when they get to moving, it's like they're flowing like water. It's like, that's what confidence is like, because it's like I'm ready for whatever's coming my way, so I'm not pressed about anything, right? So those are the symptoms that come along with feeling that confidence, right? And so this is not a correction, right? There are a couple of these emotions that we don't have corrections for, but we have enhancements, right? How do we make it better? How do we become more confident, right? How do we reveal the confidence that we have? All right, so the first and foremost thing you got to do is you got to remember and connect together all of your past victories, all the things you've accomplished. You have to remember, what are the things, big and small. Do not downplay anything that you've accomplished. Anything. If you set it as a goal to do and you did it, that is a victory. That is an accomplishment. That is something that your confidence should be built by. And so here's the thing. Let me take a step back. The reason why people feel they're not confident is because they disconnect all the things, all their victories and all their goals and all those things they achieve. They disconnect those things, and then all their failures, they connect those together. And then they live off of those failures. And I'm telling you right now, you have way more things you've achieved than you failed at. But what we do in our mind is part biological, but part, ourselves as well, is we look at the failures and we amplify it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't do this. I failed at that. Whatever, right? That's what we do. Connect all your victories together. Right? Remember and connect them all together. All the things you've been through, all the things you set out to do and accomplish, connect those together, and all your failures, all your shortcomings, take those, disconnect them, and isolate them. And once you disconnect and isolate them, what you want to do is you want to start looking at each one. You want to reevaluate all your shortcomings, and you want to look and see, okay, what did I get from this? How did this shape me as a human being? How did this make me better? How did this lead to future successes, right? What are the lessons I got from this? Because I'm a big believer that we either win or we learn, but we never lose. You can't lose if you reevaluate your shortcomings, learn from them, and then grow. You can't lose if you do that. Some other things. Train your mind to find the positives at all times. Anything that's good, holy, righteous, pure, anything of virtue, kind, loving, if it's positive in any way, you need to think on those things. Train your mind to find them. That's what confident people do. They don't look at a problem and say, oh my gosh, these are all the ways we can't do it. Confident people don't do that. Confident people look at a situation and say, these are all the ways we can fix it. The thought process is completely different, right? So train your mind. You got to train your mind. I always tell people, do a daily gratitude list. 3 things every day without repeating for at least 90 days. And you're going to see how your mind shifts to you're always finding the positive no matter what situation or conversation you're in. Always speak positively. Speak life at all times. Always, always, always. Don't just think positive, but speak positive. Very, 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 very important. Speak positive, because the things we speak, those are things that manifest and come to life. Feed your mind with positive input. Starve your mind of negative input. That's what you read, what you watch, what you look at, what you listen to. Feed your mind positivity constantly, and starve it of negativity. In any way, shape, and form, you gotta do that. So important. It's going to build your confidence because you keep feeding yourself positivity. What it does is increases your capacity and your belief that you can accomplish and do whatever it is you want to do and whatever it is you're setting out to do. Another thing, make sure you watch the company you keep. Keep positive people around you at all times. People who are positive, who are moving, who are growing. Keep those people around you at all times. And if you're around people or have people around you that are negative, they're not going anywhere, everything's so bad, everything's horrible, the government this, the people that, women this, men that, the system, whatever. All right. Every problem that comes up, it's, this is why we can't be solved. And this is why I'm stuck in it. Stay away from those people. Limit contact with those people. Do not hang around those people. Touch and go with those people. Right. So important, because the longer you stay around that environment, those people, it's going to start weighing on you and pulling you down and changing your perspective. You're going to feel less and less confident. All right. So you got to watch the company you keep. And this last one, and in my opinion, is probably the most important one. You got to make sure that when you set a goal, and you set a task, you stay true to yourself while you're setting out to accomplish it, while you're going to do that, right? To make sure to have that victory. Do not compromise who you are in any way, shape, and form. Do not compromise your morality. Do not compromise your beliefs in order to accomplish your task. Doing so will have a negative effect on you and your confidence, because the reason why you couldn't even be yourself in doing that means you literally had some type of shortcoming. There's something wrong with you, right? And having that mindset, right? Like, I got to compromise myself to do this, to accomplish this. It's not going to register to your mind and to your body and to your spirit. It's not going to register to you as confidence. You're going to feel like a fake. You're going to feel like a phony. You're going to feel like you was like a sellout. And that's not going to be a victory that you can attach to another victory. Because the only way for you to be able to go back and fix that is you're going to have to go and expose yourself, kind of go back to embarrassment. You have to expose yourself and how you fell and how you did wrong, correct that, learn from it. This goes back. This is where you learn from your mistakes and then start moving forward again. But if you stay true to yourself the entire time, you don't have to do that. And I won't belabor that point. But guys, that's it. That is it. That is embarrassment, and that is confidence, right? So important, guys. Listen, share this video, like this video, comment. Listen, if you comment, I'm going to respond back. Let's engage in the discussion. I want you guys to be confident. I don't want you to be stuck with embarrassment. It's so important, guys. Listen, I love you. I want the best for each and every one of you. And listen, by putting these things into practice, you can experience real change right now. Real change right now. You don't have to wait. You put these things into practice right now. You can experience real change in your life. So guys, please, not just the information in this video, but in all the other videos, watch them, listen to them, put them into practice in your life, and you're going to see the change that you've always wanted start taking place right now in your life. Listen, I love you guys. Stay tuned. We have 2 more videos with the rest of the emotions in there. We got righteous jealousy and unrighteous jealousy, and we got love and we got happiness, right? Those are the last ones we're going to go through. And then, guys, that's going to wrap up our emotion series. Again, love you guys. Y'all stay blessed, and I'll see you all soon.